Howdy, howdy.
How's it going?
Hey, hey,
How you
Chase, how
doing?
you doing? Good. How you
Good.
doing?
How are you?
Excellent.
I'm doing
Thanks.
good.
Good, good, good. How's weather down there? Looks beautiful.
Weather's nice. It's
Yeah,
it's starting to get really humid, but I think we've got probably another week or two of really nice weather,
nice.
and then we'll head into the heat of the summer.
Hey
Yeah.
Chase, before we get everybody on here, I'm having some issues with my account. My client, she's not able to get her calls and it doesn't ring. So I don't know what the issue is with that.
I would say check the forwarding number in the Twilio, make sure it has a forwarding number set. Other than that, you'd have to go to the support team. So open up a live chat or a ticket and
Okay.
have somebody jump in there and take a look. But it sounds like usually when it's not ringing, that means there's no forwarding number set.
No, the forwarding number's in there. So and then the Twilio logs show that the like a 3003 error or whatever. But I'm waiting on support to get back with me to figure out what's going on with it.
Okay, you might want to open a ticket at Twilio too and see what they say about that error code.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to send this live on Facebook here. Let me try to round everybody up. All right. How's everybody making out? Are we seeing a lift yet from the sort of the initial Corona client exodus or whatever we want to call it? Are we pulling people back in yet? Anybody landing any new deals this week?
Hey Chase, this is Chris. I'm
Hey,
based
Chris.
out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they opened up business about a week and a half ago, and my clients are starting to come back, um, which is good
Nice.
news for me, considering I practically lost them all in a 3-day span when everything hit. But they're coming back. Some of them ended up better off because they were able to get SBA funding, and
Oh, nice.
so now they actually have money to really throw into marketing. So good thing for some of them.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. And were you able to help them prepare for the reopening, or did they wait till that happened and now they're ready to?
Yeah, I tried to lead them down that route but a lot of them just threw in the towel and said, "Oh no, life is over." And
Right.
but now they're happy. They got their SBA funding and they're opening their doors.
Nice. All right. Looks like we've got the head honchos are joining in. So who's got a question?
I've got a Twilio question. I was trying to Atlanta has 3 area codes, and I was trying to pull a local number for 2 new clients that I'm onboarding, but nothing pops up.
Just
No dice.
raise a ticket with Twilio. They can often get area codes they don't have.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know how long you've been checking, but oftentimes you'll find like the next day there they are. Like they're constantly just adding more to their inventory.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Anybody else have questions, or in the meantime, is everybody getting excited for membership sites? Are you guys, how many people on this call are gonna
Yes,
be
I
ready
am
to
getting
roll
excited
with
for membership sites, Chase. I'm glad you asked.
it? You don't
Really
count. Of course
excited.
you're excited.
Hey, Chase, I have a question.
Sure.
I'm in the UK. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit, but I think you're back. Maybe I'm breaking up. Is it me?
No, I think it's him.
Okay. Maybe drop your question in the chat. Let me see what we got going on over here in Facebook.
Well, I'm excited for membership.
Yes. So I've been working on working with it, getting our presentation ready for Friday, and it's going to be really cool. I'm excited for everybody to be able to start rolling out these course sites.
Awesome. We've got a really cool deal that's lining up. It's a pastor that's got 30 people underneath him that are all opening small businesses, and they're working through him through his church. So he's actually coming on board, and he's going to run basically that operation for all 30 of those businesses, and that's going under one of my agency licensees. So it's
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I am back. I wanted to ask a question, if I may. It's about text messaging multiple regions or territories. Like, what would I do if I'm targeting multiple countries with a lead gen campaigns? Is there a way to integrate different options for regional text messages within the same form and have different numbers texting them out? Does anybody do multi-region or multi-country campaigns?
I think off the top of my head, I would probably have an individual campaign per country that's going to be within my target. And then I could make a user, even if it's a dummy user, assign a Twilio number with a corresponding area code to that campaign. So the messages that go out of that campaign will all come from an area code that makes sense. And then anything that goes back, will be going back to that same number. So I think that gets you, that should get you pretty far along. There's no dynamic way to sort of match that up, but I think Sean could answer this. I think our forms will automatically try to put in the area code of the location settings, but you can certainly delete that out, right? If you're filling out the form and you wanted to put in a different country code, right?
Country code for sure. We always want to find ways to be better at this. So like one of the
Mhm.
ideas, I think it makes some sense, is trying to use the IP address to locate region. I think that's better than like trying to use the area code, for example, at least here in the US, where like I talked to a guy this morning and it was 212 and I said, oh, how's New York? And he's like, I don't know, I'm in Miami. Ultimately, I think something more dynamic like that will come along. It won't be perfect, but it'll be better. But for now, Chase's solution works really, really well.
Yeah, gotcha. I guess the problem I was encountering the other day is that actually the user couldn't even input their number.
Is it because they're in a different country?
The form wouldn't accept it. So like I created a demo lead gen application that I'm using to actually just do my own lead gen. And although a lot of my market is here in the UK, I do have connections in Canada and the US. And I actually sent them, and they wanted to opt in, but it wouldn't actually, the form wouldn't take.
It's because they have to put their country code in. So had they put in +1 or whatever, which the average person doesn't know to do that. Certainly not here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I think ultimately trying to use an IP address or something similar to sort of figure this out automatically is something that I'm interested in doing. I'm still dubious on how accurate that'll be, but I bet it will get in the 90% range, which should be good enough for most people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so to that point, I would make sure in the form that you're putting some instructional text, right? That says be sure to enter plus in your country code
That's one.
to try to help them understand that they need to do that, right?
Right. Yeah, I can do custom text. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. So well, hopefully that gets you past that hurdle there. What else? Who's got questions? Who's got
Might be a short
questions?
call.
Yeah,
guys.
everybody's head down. Clients are coming back. Too busy for questions?
Okay, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, two of them. When you want to send out an email or an SMS to a contact
Yep.
and you use a template, the user's name and email address disappears out of the form.
Wait, it doesn't populate the template?
It's populated into the template, but as soon as you try to use a template,
Yeah.
the user's email or the user email and name disappears.
So
You mean the custom value placeholder?
No, because the
can you share your
template
screen and show us?
Yeah.
Hey, Robin.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. We're just waiting on Jerry's going to share his screen and show us something.
Okay. You guys got it?
Okay, yep.
So pick a template. And there you go.
Oh, the from name and the from address disappear. Curious.
Yes.
Are you able to set that in the template? I guess maybe you're not. Well, that's a bug.
Okay.
Small one, but definitely a bug. So if you choose a template, the from name and the from email disappear. So get a quick screenshot. Let me send that over to Snehal on my team, and we'll get her knocked out.
Perfect. Okay. And next issue that I've got is there a default method in which you can send an email out from a provider? I don't care which one it is. You can send it out, but then you can do a BCC and have it drop into Go High Level.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Like where there's like an email address that you can just send it in and it works kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can technically do that if you just send it to any email. Like if you send it to like any email address at your subdomain, it will get routed in and will create a contact.
What if the contact already exists?
Well, then it should match it up based on the email address.
Interesting. I'm going to give that a try right now.
But I do think you should test that theory.
Okay.
I think eventually we should have a more traditional route to do that like other people do, but no, not, I mean, that's the kind of thing that I think we should add to the ideas list. I mean, I think the good news is that, so roadmap wise, I mean, I think these calls are good for talking about just anybody who doesn't know the roadmap or has questions on it. I mean, our goal going into the rest of the year is to really focus hard on leveling up a lot of the CRM features. So after memberships drops this week on Friday, we will have next week we'll have a reintroduction and upgrade of our attribute our form attribution stuff, which will be pretty cool. but a lot of the stuff that we work on in June, July, and August will be a lot of the small, quote unquote, smaller items on the CRM that everybody's asked for. So you should see a lot of upgrades like that. And I could see, like, for example, that kind of thing make it into the list where it's like, hey, can you give us an email address for every contact that, or I forget how everybody else does it, but basically, can I BCC some address and then have it automatically add to the conversation? I think that's the kind of thing that other sort of more expensive CRMs do. And that's the kind of thing we'll probably look to add in here soon.
Yeah, I mean, like Zoom does that, or not Zoom, Zoho does that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're almost fairly elegant in how they do it.
Yeah, how do they do it, actually? Can you explain the process they use?
Oh, God, they just got a whole bunch of really smart developers. But basically, they're running the mail server.
I've met a lot of them. They're in Chennai, India, but
so they're running the mail server and they're running the CRM. And,
oh, right. They're not doing an integration with Gmail. They're replacing Gmail.
well, yeah, pretty much.
Got it. So you read all your email in the inbox, their inbox. Is that about right?
Right. But
Okay.
if you don't have contact
Mm-hmm.
with that email address,
Mhm.
and that email comes in, so from Joe Smith, there's
Mhm.
no record for Joe Smith. So Joe Smith at
It just creates one.
gmail.com, it just kind of sits there and says, who do you want to assign it to? Which lead or contact or customer?
It doesn't try to match on the actual email address.
It tries,
Okay.
but Zoho also lets you have several email addresses for people, and it's only addressing one issue. Like the first email that
I actually think that's a
popped
funny
up.
choice. I think that's a funny choice because how can one person have? How can the same email address not match to more than one person?
It's addressing for one person, but it also has the way Zoho works. It's you've got the company, and then you've got people that work for the company or are associated with that company.
Yeah,
So
we
the
are going to
company can have an email.
adding companies soon, so I think that's actually really interesting. Maybe we'll reach out to you and see how you use that and try to model around that. We're also looking a lot at HubSpot because I think eventually that's kind of more the direction we want to go in.
Okay. The other thing with how the mail sort of gets moved around, because I brought this up last week and you kind of went, yeah, we're trying to get it where we can pipe the emails in and stuff. When do you think that might get into the system if it doesn't work for Chase right now on pass of BCC?
It doesn't look like it did. I think my test failed.
No, bummer. I mean, I think long-term, the real question is, what is the better way to do this? I think the better way to do this is to do a full integration with Gmail and Outlook. So Gmail's a little spendy. They want to charge us 40 grand to do that integration, but we'll probably just have to cough it up at some point. Don't have an extra 40 grand to sit in my pocket, but I think down the road, we'll probably have to do that. It'll be worth it, I think, to everybody, because then we can just truly read your inbox, send from your account, sync up your conversations, all those things that people want us to do. So I think that's probably the direction we'll move in.
Really?
Do they lift the limit, Sean, if you do that?
What limit?
The sending limit?
No, it's never going to be usable. Gmail never wants you to be able to send mass amounts of email through them. And in fact, I somehow doubt Zoho lets you put 50,000 emails through it at a time as well, right? But
yeah, you can't use Zoho to
cold email.
Send out cold.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I've been sending out cold here for the last few weeks, and absolutely, face planted it with Gmail. Send in Blue is working beautifully, I might add. SendGrid, SendGrid is a bit of a beast to set up, but they will let you do your cold email and everything else. And as you know, Sean, it's totally integrated with all the Twilio tools in the conversations.
Yes. I do know that.
We talked about that a long time ago.
I mean, at some point, the other sort of option at some point down the road, and these are other things we're talking about, is like, well, maybe what we ought to do is, I mean, originally we sort of picked Mailgun, but the problem we got from people, and I still get this to this day, even with our current setup, is, people will say, well, this isn't delivering or it's going right to spam. And they kind of look back at us like, okay, so tell me how to solve that problem. And I'm like, I can't really solve that problem. Like,
Well, it's not Mailgun that's causing the problem. It's everybody that's going out and using the MSNGR.
well, no, hold on.
Current
Once
field?
you have your own Mailgun account on your own domain and it's just all you, right? Like, Mailgun is delivering to Gmail, and then I can show you, like, if Gmail is rejecting your email, I can show you how to get into Gmail. What Gmail does after that, though, is really, really, really difficult, and I don't think almost anyone can sort of perfectly tell you how to fix that problem. Because if there was some perfect formula, every marketer on the planet would use it, and right now I would immediately stop answering email and stop using it because people would get in my inbox, so I don't want to. Right?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Send in Blue is getting me probably 95% into the inbox.
Yeah, but I mean, I guarantee you with absolute certainty that Gmail, if you have a bunch of people hit the spam button on your emails, that will cease to happen. So if you're sending great email that people want to get, you'll never have a problem. But there's no way that Send in Blue is like smarter than the Gmail developers and somehow has some magic formula. That just can't be true.
No,
Yeah, and
no, they're not.
also-
But I'm running a feedback loop on my email, and the problem that's coming up is your MSNGR, SMTP replies that MSNGR, that domain
Yep.
is absolutely massacred out there on spam. The spam houses are just returning your.
I wouldn't be surprised about that. I mean, when you first sign up with HighLevel, everybody uses that domain to send out all their emails. So I think what we'll probably do is, I think the better solution there is probably to try to make it so that you guys, whenever it sends out your email links, it does so on the white label domains that you have versus the generic domain. And I think that'll probably be a better long-term fix. Because we're not
I
going to
think
be able
that's an
to do.
absolute perfect fix.
What's that?
That's a perfect fix.
Yeah, I think so too. So
Yeah. And then also we have a email consultant who's going to be doing a spotlight session soon. I think, Chase, did you have that booked yet? Or getting close to getting it booked?
Yeah, we're working on the date.
Got it. Yeah, so he'll be going over, the concepts of how to properly get into, good inbox deliverability, making sure that the contextual side of your emails are set up properly and things like that.
Okay, great. That's it for me. I've got no more questions, no more comments.
Cool.
I'm adding that item to the dev list right now.
Thanks, guys.
Is there any plan for Outlook email support, like for sending via Outlook accounts?
Yeah, well, right now you could do that. You can do that right now through the SMTP integration.
All right, I didn't get to get that working, so I wasn't sure that was possible. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you run into any issues, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely help you.
I guess another question I had was around document upload, functionality to get
coming
users
soon.
Coming soon. Is that?
Yeah, so the developer who's working on the form attribution stuff that we'll launch next week, he's actually our form and survey guy. He'll be moving back to forms and surveys after that. And the first item on his list is files.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool. Thank you.
It might take 3 weeks, but we'll get there very soon.
That's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Robin, I got a question for you.
Might have an answer. What's up?
Many weeks ago, remember we were talking about, or a month ago, Yext, you had a person in Canada or a company in Canada that would do citations. Which company was that?
It's
got
actually
100 of them.
You got 100?
No, you said if we had 100 people to sign up.
Oh, yeah. For us to be, so basically with Yext, they give us the option to go into other countries through their channels, but for it to make sense, I mean, we'd have to bring over a lot of clients, because we essentially, to get the price breaks that we were able to negotiate, we have to be able to pre-purchase it. And I'd hate to go down the path and investing into that and then realize we don't have anyone who wants to, get into the Canada market for Yext.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you have 100 clients, we'd be more than happy to work it out and get it going.
Well, I only have there's only about 50 right now, but I'll get there soon. I was just seeing if it was, but it is a Yext that you're looking to partner. Like it's still them.
They have a sister company that manages the Canadian market. It's through them. If you have 50, and you have a list of that, send it over to me or to our team, and we could see if that's a viable number.
We might be able to apply some pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll reach out to more marketers here in Canada too to see about if we can just build up that list real quick for you and then go.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love that. Then we can really storm the Canadian market.
Yeah, the more buying power we have, the easier it is for us to really negotiate with Yext and really get that price point down. So if you can give us leverage, we'll be able to push it through.
Okay. I just wanted to see if it was Yext, but I was seeing if it was maybe Bright Local or something. But
let me see if I can find the name.
Bright Local's good. Also,
it's Yellow Pages of Canada, as I recall.
Oh,
Is that
yes,
what it is?
that's right. They signed a contract. It is Yellow Pages.
and there's White Spark too.
Yeah. White Spark I don't like, but Yellow Pages I would really not like to deal with. They're horrible.
Well, I mean, you know what the funny part about all this to me is that these citations are pushed out on the sites that are, you know, relatively, I don't think of them as American sites. Like, I mean, I'm certain some of them are probably more used in the United States, but like Yelp is probably, you know, Google Maps, Apple Maps, like these are just as Canadian as any site, right? So,
well, yeah, no, they're all the aggregators, right? What is it? 6 main aggregators?
It's to me, it's just funny because I'm just like, what the heck? Why do you need a local partner for any of this stuff?
I agree. And well, actually Bright Local is only $60 for the year, Canadian. So, which is basically what, 45 American.
Yeah. As I recall, the downside of Bright Local is what? They don't have I think they don't have the network that Yext does. I'm pretty certain of that.
Oh, they're using the exact same aggregators.
Yeah, but Yext has like direct backroom deals with guys that aren't on their aggregation networks.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, Yext, if you go back and look at history, Yext was like one of the first people to the party. And I think the reason why they dominated and won is because they put a lot of sales guys on airplanes and flew them down to some of these places and made direct deals with a lot of these places that aren't made with other people. Like I know an easy example is like on Yelp, we can start, well, in the future, we'll start pulling reviews out of the Yext API that we could never get direct. And it's all a bunch of unfairness, don't get me wrong, but it is the truth. And anybody coming later on just gets shut out of the deal. That's why Yext is a publicly traded company and they're, 600 million in revenue or whatever. Right? I mean, it's not because they have like a better product. It's just because they cut better deals.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm sure their product's great, but.
One of the other things with Yext is for you, Sean, is that the minute you stop paying Yext,
I don't think this
got
is
a little switch in there.
by the way.
Yeah, no, they don't.
We text this.
So their official response is when you stop paying, they unlock all the citations, and then other third parties can change the data, and over time it erodes.
Yes, exactly.
They don't go like undo anything anymore.
No, they don't undo it. They just remove their flag from that record, which then lets anybody update it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I got a completely separate question. Can I fire away?
Oh, hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Nice to talk to you.
Hey, Sean.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too, man. On the conversation page, has this been a request? Because I don't see anything in the idea board just to like maybe see notes or just a little bit more info about that person while having the conversation. Maybe is it possible to write custom CSS or anything like that?
I think this is kind of part of our level up strategy throughout the rest of the year, to be honest. Like these are the types of things I think we want to focus more on. So, I mean, we've been really, my focus has been around like new features. Because without those new features, I get on phone calls and people say, well, but you don't have this or you don't have that, right? But now I would say we've got them all. I mean, there's probably a couple of things we don't have, maybe like social media posting and management towards the back half of the year. In the August timeframe, I'd like to see a new drag and drop email builder delivered and a new and a workflow builder delivered. And those things will come out. But to me, those might be big enhancements, but they're not new features. So most of the development I want to do is for stuff like this, for power users like you who would really appreciate, like being able to add notes. So we have a full UX designer coming on May 15th, and we're going to start him in literally on enhancements like that across the board. Because maybe it'd be cool if you could just click something, notes slide up, you can read them, you can add them, notes slide down, who knows, right? But really just reimagine some of the UI components to just be a little bit more power user friendly.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be huge. Because right now we're adding everything in tags, and the tags are getting kind of long to just see quick about that person.
I think that's awesome. I think what you'll see us right now, we're a little slow because we're trying to stop making noise. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing with my phone here. But so with the sorry, I just don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so with the ideas list right now, it's a little slow because memberships. I took basically the whole team and I'm like, look, we got to pound out memberships in a month. So it slowed all the funnel people down, right? And then same thing goes with form attribution, but that drops next week. So then we should shift back to the ideas list and start rocketing through those, because most of the ideas, if you look at them, so email stats though, email stats should go out next week. So that'll get carved off the list. And then all the little, if you look below that, everything except maybe PandaDoc is pretty small, super killer useful though. So we'll start pounding through that ideas list faster and harder.
Okay. Then I had another question, if I can, on triggers right now. There's no, is that in your plan of being able to prioritize triggers or if then triggers or anything around triggers? Wait, you're muted.
Muted, sorry, got it. Yeah, absolutely. So first thing is we'll make the actions hand off to one another so that they're not just sequential, but sequential with so like if the first trigger action changes a contact, for example, the contact that gets handed off to the second trigger action is the modified version, right? So like a lot of times we'll get into situations where if you do a round robin on a campaign, and then you want to send that user a text to say like a lead has been assigned, you have to break that into two triggers because the assignment piece may happen, but it's not handed off to the trigger. So that next trigger action doesn't know who the user is. So then like nothing happens, stuff like that. And then we will add and/ors because I think there's a lot of use cases for that. And these are great examples of stuff I want to do starting in June. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Because there's like 100, I just looked, there's like 4 or 5 pages of the word trigger. And it's I think they're all kind of the same concept.
There's good and bad news here, right? It's like the bad news is that's like not here right now. But the good news is we're actually moving into a phase where it's all the small stuff that really makes the big differences now. And to me, that's super exciting because it tells me that, in fact, anytime anybody ever says they want to cancel, which does sadly happen now and again, I always ask, well, are we missing anything? I always say, why are you canceling? Are we missing a feature you needed? And I love asking that question mostly because I'm trying to get the honest answer back. And I also know because 99.9% of the time, I always get the same answer. Oh no, you guys aren't missing anything. It's this or it's that. But that's wonderful news because now all we have to do is hammer out sort of smooth out those rough edges. And we'll have a really killer system. So yeah, just give me June 1st.
You really have.
Give me till June 1st, and you'll start to see some big changes.
Awesome, man. All right, thanks a lot.
I have a question. I have a question about calendars.
Oh yeah, full-time calendar developer. June 1, big, huge, massive release for calendars. But go for it.
Okay. Well, yeah. I guess one of the things is is there going to be like a services page like Calendly
June
has?
1. Yep.
June 1?
So June 1, yeah, you'll see June 1. You should see a big, huge, so our goal is to launch, I wish Varun was here to help me, but services, shared calendars and availability, and something else. We basically went back in, we looked at some other calendar software that shall not be named, and we looked at all of the things we're missing, and we just baked those all into a big sprint, and we're just pounding through it right now.
Okay,
So
nice.
give me till June 1 and I should be able to, you should have everything you need.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Who's next? Step right up.
Hey, Chase,
Sure.
I had a question on
Yeah,
a
go for it.
loop video you did the other day.
Mhm.
So, you showed how when somebody comes into HighLevel and they're tagged with the date, and you could put them on a loop to send them a reminder to get their teeth clean or get an adjustment. But what if, like, I'm downloading an email list from a new client and uploading it into HighLevel? Like I have that going on right now, and I'm not really sure because they have all these different dates of when the last time people were in there.
So
Does that make sense?
you're saying have it go out 6 months after whatever their last appointment date was based on a field in the sheet.
Yeah. So like, do I need to get like the last time their patients were in, from that particular, like chiropractor. I work with chiropractors. So all the chiropractors, their patients, like they haven't seen, this group for 30 days. They haven't seen this group for 90 days. And I was just kind of trying to make that connection of how to do that with the video that you.
I don't know if there's a clean way to do that. I would probably just say, you know what, we're gonna put everybody on the same new schedule. And yes, some people may have just had their appointment, and we're gonna check back in with them anyway. But just to get them all on the new schedule,
Okay, yeah, because I didn't want to keep banging my head trying to think about this because I was like, man, how am I supposed to do this? Because it seemed like it was really
close.
daunting.
Yeah.
But
we have like the custom date trigger stuff, and you could try to divvy it out into different groups, and then that would be a mess. I would just
okay, cool.
blunt force them all into a new schedule. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Chris, for membership sites, will user accounts be self-provisioning upon sign up?
I think that's the idea.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool how it works, actually. I was going through it today.
Oh, good.
And
Tell me, Chase, I want to know.
When somebody purchases or purchases a free course or makes the purchase or whatever, they get added as a user automatically, and there's a new field in the contact record that's called like membership sites or courses or something. So they can automatically sign into the course with their same HighLevel creds, I believe, which automatically gets sent to them when they buy the course. And then if you ever want to cancel them, you can just go to that field and delete them. Or you could go to that field and manually add a course to somebody if you wanted to give it to them for free. But they're managed through through smart contacts or smart lists, just like every other user in the system. So it's pretty cool. So there's not like a separate area for these users that have purchased sites. They're all just mixed in. There's just a new field in the contact record for that.
Cool, sounds good.
Hopefully that made sense.
Yep. What about going the SaaS route and you build a landing page and they want to sign up and say, oh, I want to pay $97 a month as a SaaS. Is there a way to set up self-provisioning, like once they pay it and they get it,
There's an ad locations app. So it's a little, it's funny that it's convoluted like this, but just it is what it is for the moment. So you webhook out to Zapier, and then in our Zap, there's a Zap action called add location, and you can add a user to your HighLevel account, add a location, add a user, provision a phone number, and install a snapshot.
And we just did an interview with Nathan Shearer in Australia yesterday. So the replay will post sometime soon. And he's built sort of like a wrapper product that takes our Zap and gives it a little front end, I would say, that sort of does exactly what you're talking about. So you might want to check in with him. It's called hghl.tools, I think.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. In fact, I'm really excited about courses also, just because I see this massive potential for agencies to use them as lead generation tools. Chase is actually kind of working on something like that now, I think, right, Chase?
Yeah. And we're sort of almost getting to what we're just talking about, right? Because once membership rolls out, then I'm sure shortly after we'll be building triggers that tie into membership stuff. And then you've kind of got this whole onboarding, like you could make a course about signing up for your version of HighLevel and then trigger things out. And I think that gets us right there.
Yes. And in fact, the other cool thing is one of the top ideas on the ideas list right now is SOPs, and like an SOP builder kind of thing. And I'm thinking, tab where we can enter training scripts, SOPs, and procedures for front desk staff. So the cool thing about that is if we make one little tweak and let you add like a custom left menu item, there's scripts to do this, but I think we should just bake it in. Then you just link out to a course that you've already created that's free. And then you can literally just use the course creator to be your SOP creator, right? And also I think likewise, even there's a call scripts for call center, which had 258 votes. I think you could, I still have a hard time visualizing what this looks like per se, but I think that this might also be able to be used for that. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love that idea because I think we'll have to talk about this. There's a product out there called And Costello, and that's what they do.
Oh, that's right. I've seen this product you've been hawking this product forever.
But I think, again, we're going to get there when we release the new campaign builder. The bones of that, I think, are the And Costello products. So I think we're going to have everything we need already.
See, I think you're right. I think what's interesting about where we're at as a company also is a lot of the stuff we build, the reusability of it starting to allow creation of other things a lot faster. Like, well, I'll just drop this on this call. So so early in the week, somebody sent me a video of a feature they wanted where you could charge a Stripe account based upon well, in our case, it'd be a trigger action. And so what they were trying to do is they're doing like paper lead. So, and if they drag an opportunity into a column, they want to be able to charge their customer through their Stripe account. And so because we already have the Stripe infrastructure already built for charging on calendars and stuff like that, it was easy for us to, I mean, not easy, but it was doable that, this week we should actually have that out as a trigger action. And then next week, because we have the call status trigger, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but basically it's the ability to, let's say like if I get an inbound call on this phone number, then I want to do X. Well, I talked to a lot of people who are in the, what do they call it? With the rank and rent business or something. Anyways, pay-per lead. And a lot of them tend to charge their customers based on call length. And so next week we'll add a filter to the call status trigger based on time. And then we'll say, okay, great. Then you can say, well, if I get a call on this number and it's greater than 90 seconds, I want to charge the Stripe account for this customer this amount of money. So all of a sudden, right there, you have the ability to automatically charge your customers for inbound calls. And I talked to a woman who does this for plumbers. This is exactly how she rolls. But I guarantee right now, she just wants to track those calls in our system, but this will actually let her monetize them in real time. So I think that's pretty cool.
Quick thing on the calls thing, because I know we talked last week that you were going to be putting in the at least somewhat of a call handling solution down the road.
Oh, you mean the inbound calls?
Inbound, yeah. And then I talked to Chase on Monday because I was kind of like ripping my hair out trying to figure out why the browser wasn't ringing on an inbound call.
Yeah.
It doesn't ring.
Yeah, so we're going to be actually moving on to voicemail here very shortly. I think it'll get underway next week. And so then it'll still probably take 2 weeks, but 2 weeks from now, you'll be able to do voicemail in the system. And then I think once we have that, we'll start to probably move to inbound calling. Because one of my fears of turning on inbound calling in a non-forwarded manner is just what do you do when that person's not there? And, and then it's very quickly, do you have IVR? Do you have voicemail? Do you have time-of-day routing? So I'm just trying to prepare for some of those events ahead of time.
The one thing that would be really slick to have in there on the very first iteration of this is a call pop. Pop that lead record right up in front of them.
Oh, I've already got a design for that actually. It's really cool. I'm still trying to find it. I think it's on my old laptop, but I'm actually trying to get my front end guy to send it to me. We have this really cool window that's in the bottom right-hand corner that just automatically pops up, has the name of the lead, all the call functions are built into it. It's definitely what we're going to roll out for first iteration.
Sweet. And the other thing you want to make sure that it does is it pops over all the other screens that they've got on their computer.
Yeah,
So it
that's the
doesn't
idea.
matter if
In fact, that's what my co-founder, in fact, this is actually the big holdup here is that I threw this up at Varun the other day and he's like, well, yeah, but what happens if, you're in account A and you get a call for account B? Like, what do we ring and what do we do and how does it function, right? And I'm like, oh, those are really good questions. I probably came up with some shortcut answer, which is what I normally do, but those are really good considerations, right? So like if you're a sales guy for A and B, what do you do? And there's probably some good answer there. Like if I answer the call and I'm not in the right account or not on the right contact, it should switch me to that contact, kind of like clicking a notification does or something like that, right? So, but those are some of the peculiarities I think we have to figure out since we're multi-tenant. And what calls do you ring in? Do you ring in every call that you get from every account that you happen to be in, like a member of, or you just ring the calls for the account you're currently in? It's like, these are things we got to figure out.
I think it's got to be the call that you're currently in.
That's what that was my shortcut answer, of course.
Unless
I just said to get it out version 1, just only ring it for accounts I'm currently switched into.
Right. But then you could also say, if it's you're sort of like a VA or an answering service answering for multiple clients, that's an entire different kettle of fish.
Except I get phone calls from that kettle. I got a call from that kettle this morning. Or is that fish? One of the two.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Someone's calling the
I got a call
black
from an answering service this morning who said, oh, I think you guys would be a great fit as an answering service solution. And I was like, yeah, totally. Maybe. And she said, oh, no, I'm really convinced that you are. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, sign up for that free trial. Get started today, So there's definitely going to be those people as well. So, but anyways, version 1, we will make it so that you can pick up calls with a cool call pop for the account you're logged in as, and then we'll deal with the repercussions after that.
Look at that. You're my hero again.
Yeah. In fact, I just pinged my front-end designer to say, hey, where is that, by the way?
Chris, so we do love to try to negotiate for lower fees whenever we can, but Stripe, I don't think negotiates with anybody.
They do.
As far as transaction fees, do they?
They do. Yeah, you just got to put a lot of money through it.
Well, just not Stripe, just any payment provider.
Yeah. Okay. So
right?
let's talk about. Okay. I have a big opinion here, whether I'm right or not. I have an opinion. And the reason I have an opinion is in my prior SaaS company. It's called Invoice Sherpa. It was all about collecting money for people. I grew it from 0 customers to 1,000 off my kitchen table. And as part of that journey, I integrated with a lot of payment gateways. And I talked to a lot of people that told me, the one I love the best is, well, a buddy at church got me a really good deal. And I just got sick and tired of it because every time I'd be like, okay, well, show me your statements. They're like, well, I don't know how the fees work and all that. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, look, just send me your last month's statement. And every time you're like, total amount charged, total fees. And you just like do the math and be like, yep, 3% or whatever it is. And so like, I'm like, dude, your buddy at church, I'm sure he's a swell dude and I'm sure he meant well, but he's not getting you a smoking deal because there is no smoking deal. This is like buying corn. There's very little variance here, right? Now, that being said, what did I do eventually? I eventually white labeled my own payments and I did get a good deal for people. I think it was, instead of whatever it is, 2.9 plus 30, I got like 2.5 plus 30. So there was some tiny margin. And all it really was me taking, instead of getting 1.5%, as a commission or whatever it was, I just gave back half and took 1, something like that. We'll probably do that again here soon down the road. So there's a great company called Bambora. It's actually out of France, but they're a big multinational payments company, and they do a really bang up job with payments, and they also offer ACH in both the US and Canada. And Canada has those really cool payments. What are they called? E-payments or something? Or what? Come on, Canadians. Jump in here. What are those things called?
E-transfer.
E-transfer. Boom. Yeah. So they have these really cool things. So they support e-transfer. So anyways, we'll probably roll out our own payments gateway. Now, that being said, it'll probably be like something like Stripe, PayPal, Authorize.net, and our own. Because at that point, I refuse to go any farther. PayPal for the people who are international, Authorize.net for the people who like think they've got a smoking great deal from their friend at church, and our own.
So I go through my bank and the provider is like, I believe it's called Evalon. It's like 2.6.
Yeah, Evalon. Yep, absolutely.
It's 2.6.
Card present transactions or card not present transactions?
Card not present transactions 2.6 for me for
Yeah.
reoccurring.
Well, I have heard this story before, and it is a true statement. That's what I've seen is where banks will basically they'll trash their margin on the whole payments product. They'll basically get rid of it to basically as a loss leader for your banking business. That's why we'll support Authorize.net, because Authorize.net will let you do Avalon and every other provider.
Gotcha.
So yeah, but don't worry, we'll expand our choices. But just that there's my opinion on the subject.
You know, my previous business, I owned an IT service company, and I took nothing but credit card payments. But at the end of the year, I add up those transactions. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it blows your mind. I used to deal with a lot of IT guys in my last IT shops in my last business.
So I changed all my clients over to ACH. It was a hard process, but it worked and it saved me.
Well, you know what? Here's a trick for you, by the way, on ACH. QuickBooks Online offers ACH at 0 cost.
Awesome.
And you know what's funny? ACH is just as it's funny as a business. It's just like a credit card payment, and if anything else, it's somewhat more dangerous because the banks actually are the only two people in the equation. The reason the banks like the credit cards is because Visa and MasterCard take the hit if there's a chargeback. But with ACH, it's bank to bank, so it's actually pretty dangerous business from a payment service provider's perspective.
Right.
But if I was a vendor, or if I was a customer, I'd say ACH all day long.
Yeah, going back to the e-transfer part, we only pay. Actually, you don't pay anything. It's free.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, the Canadians have this figured out. I mean, moving money between updating databases in two people's systems should cost $0. But for some reason, I'm still waiting for Apple and Google to just somehow show up and decimate it. I think the banks though always will have a say in the matter because they provide security. And basically, you're paying for the guarantee. And Visa and MasterCard, they dominated. They went around the world and built their own custom network many years ago, and so you're paying for that too. But still, it shouldn't be that way. I mean, ultimately, it should just, be Apple Pay and Google Pay and be done.
Crypto, bro.
Okay. What's next?
Who else? No other questions? Sean, do you have any updates?
I've got one.
Okay, fire away.
Yeah, I've got one. Francis here. So just wanted to get some ideas on how I can start working with some smaller businesses and perhaps marketing teams that want to use HighLevel white labeled under me, but not as an affiliate, but essentially under my own instance.
So walk me through what you want to do with that.
I'm sorry?
Walk me through why you want to do it that way.
Well, it's not necessarily a decision to do it that way. I'm wondering if there's so at the moment, I have the white label account. I have a couple of locations. I have my own locations. And I have a few meetings getting some interest of people who might want to use the platform.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it's in my best interest to just, create them a location and give them access and have them.
I've seen this show before, and the problem is that if you don't make them make the purchase decision, so if you sort of give them the milk without buying the cow or something, they tend never to switch over. So it's really, really, really hard to get them to make that decision later on. It's almost better if you're going to try to create value for them, it's better to almost say, look, you know what? Here's a starter snapshot of all the things you need to get going. Here's a video I put together of how to rock that out. And oh, by the way, I'm willing to jump on the phone with you for 30 minutes to just kind of just sort of orient you or help you or get you going, right? Because the reality is long-term, let's just think about this. Long-term, if they are a successful marketer, even unto themselves, but hopefully with clients, they will need a full HighLevel account, right? So if they're going to be successful, there's no reason not to get there. And while I certainly have talked to people who think $97 a month is like a crazy expensive thing, it's just not for what we do. I mean, the facts bear it out. Go look at any other software platform. You just can't get our feature set. So I think that if you're talking to somebody who's either currently a serious player or intends to be a serious player, They should not see this as a stumbling block. If anything, the stumbling block is, oh, cool, this looks awesome, but how do I get started? And that's something you can solve very easily for them. So that's my opinion.
Okay. So are you saying that, I mean, the recommended route, I mean, it's more efficient or practical and longer in the interest of actually for them to become a high-level user via my affiliate rather than for them to come into my own instance
If they're a
as
professional
one of my
marketer
clients. Yeah.
or marketing agency or however you want to go about it, absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, quick question.
Okay.
No,
go ahead.
Okay. Quick question. On the back end, you can inject code into your headers and you can inject it after body.
Yes.
But you don't have a global one for footer.
Wait, no, it can't be after body. It's got to be. That's got to be, because so so let's walk it in, right? So
in body, right?
HTML. Oh yeah. So are you talking about at the end of the body?
End of the body.
Yeah. Where does it? Well, when it says in body, does does it put it at the top or does it put it at the bottom?
Well, I'll give you an example. For perfect audience, you need to have the perfect audience tags.
Yeah.
In the header. Okay. And then right above body, right after body, and then you have to have it at the bottom of the page as well.
Wow, that sounds like a horrible design by somebody.
Well, go beat the shit out of a perfect
I will.
audience.
That's terrible. That doesn't make sense. Why do they explain why you need code in 3 spots on a page to work?
I don't know, just to slow the page down, I guess.
I guess so. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, let's help you with that problem, but still seems weak. I mean, we deal with a lot of third-party software, and I don't know anybody who does that. I mean, I know people, I get the whole, like, can you put it before the body kind of thing, but is this for the site tracking tag?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to read there.
So there's this, I believe there's this header and after body tag.
It says, this will bring up a page, JavaScript, blah, blah, blah. Copy this, oh yeah, like copy this and paste it above the closing body tag. Yeah, according to this, they only need it below the closing body tag.
So that needs to be footer, bottom of page.
Yeah, so I think in general, if that's not how we do it, I would actually recommend we do it that way. Let me just test something real quick. Sorry.
But then isn't there an issue with Google Tag Manager where they want to be right after the opening body?
Robin, are you here? You should know.
Yes.
You'll know the answer better than I know.
Sorry, what was the question?
Where does Google Tag Manager want its code put on a page?
Header and body.
Yeah, but where in the body? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just looking at our code right now. You're right. We put it. Actually, we put it not right after the body, but a little closer there. Whatever. So I'll log this to get it moved to be right above the body. So let me ping development on that. I think that's a universally good change. Let me ask Varun though, because he would say, well, that's going to change it for everybody and all this other stuff, but we'll figure out a solution for you.
Okay. And since Robin has surfaced again, Robin, what's happening with Google Tag Manager integrations to make life easy for everybody?
Google Tag integration. What do you mean?
I don't know. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Tag Manager and all that, and you said, "Oh, it's coming. We're going to get it all integrated for UTM tracking and everything."
Oh, that's next. You're actually talking about the UTM tracking, right?
It's all the same.
That's next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, you didn't need me.
What about, do we have any updates on the new bulk action for smart lists?
I don't know that. Yeah. So
Check.
I mean, the good news here is that all the product managers have universally been focused this week on memberships, and that's all my fault. And so we're just really working hard to get those out. The good news is there's 37 other developers writing code. And so if I had to guess, I'd say that's like at least the opportunity bulk actions are already finished. They probably just need to go through QA and then be put live. So I don't know, probably 2 weeks. But
Awesome.
I'll ask Varun I've asked Varun a couple of things, but I'll ask him on that. I'll ask him that one tomorrow. And if I don't answer you, Chase, please remind me.
No worries. I was just wondering if there was a new update on that. Cool. We're about to hit the top of the hour. Any other last questions?
Well, we made it.
We did. Going once, going twice. We'll see you next week.
Hey, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good one.